for the final time of asking in the 2016 FIA World Endurance Championship season. The cars are about to qualify. 4 pole positions up for grabs under the lights at Bahrain International Circuit, unfolding live in front of the eyes of the editor of dailysportscar.com, Graham Goodwin, and me, John Hindhaugh, and you joining us. Very warm welcome along, and very warm being the operative word here. Still well into the mid to high 20s Celsius, top of the 70s in terms of the Fahrenheit scale. Our odyssey has taken us from Silverstone and the snow and hail to the sand and warmth here in Bahrain, by way of Spa, Le Mans, Nürburgring, Mexico, the Circuit of the Americas, Fuji, of course, and Shanghai. Air temperature a toasty 26 degrees and 31 in the track at the moment. Just starting to get a little bit of the haze that comes in at this time of the evening. The lights are on, and currently, as far as the pit lane's concerned, everybody's home, because we are waiting to go out and set for qualifying sessions and for pole positions. And a point for qualifying could be very important here, Graham.
Yes, and good afternoon, good evening, good night to everybody listening and watching. For that crew we just saw there, Manu Collard, Riyad Gouache and Francois Perraudot, if they score pole here, they win the GTE title. That is it has to be said on recent form, the unlikely scenario, but certainly not out of the reckoning. In GT Pro though, John, it's bizarre, isn't it? We've got all 3 titles up for grabs, and we could very easily find ourselves in a scenario where those titles go, well, at least to 2 different teams, and potentially even to 3. The mathematics are beyond me at the moment, I have to tell you, but we've got handfuls of points in the drivers' teams and manufacturers' championships. It's all going to come down to having an incident-free race and putting yourself in good track position.
And it's mouth-watering, really. 6 hours of racing to go, but before that, these 20-minute quick-fire sessions for, first of all, the GTs, and then the prototypes could be so important. There's Sam Bird getting suited up. Pedro Lamy, you saw for a moment before that, before he climbs aboard his Aston Martin, and Sam, of course, getting into the Ferrari. Talking to the guys in the pits earlier on this afternoon, and there are a lot of people, including David Richards on the right hand side there, who, well, they are just holding their breaths at the moment. Let's have a listen to Ford Chip Ganassi.
Well, so I'll also push on the second lap. And if I'm quicker, what do you want to do? Keep me out. So you just call me in when you see, the drop-off or whatever.
Yeah, let's see how we get on and where our first lap times come in relative to the rest.
Yeah, because I'm not sure, mate, where this track's going to be after that single-seater race.
Yeah, copy that.
That was Andy Priol watching the TV and talking to the pits at the same time. The single-seater race he's just talked about was the MRF Challenge, which has been here. We also had a bit of Porsche Cup racing as well earlier on this afternoon.
MRF Challenge won by young Mick Schumacher, son of course, Michael Schumacher, and his uncle Ralph is across the way at the Karting World Championship.
Here as well.
And Gerhard Berger's here too. Interesting stuff there on the radio from Andy to the engineers at the Ganassi Ford team. Whether or not there's anything in this track for a second run. There's Andy's teammate Harry Tinknell. We were talking a little bit while ago about the GTM pole battle. The number 83 car has not scored pole this year. Francois Perraudot, by the way, confirms he has never had a pole position. Now, couldn't this be a great place to actually break that duck? Because they came pretty close last time.
Yes, they did. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because, well, do you know what? Here, I was going to say here is probably one of the places you can try as hard as you like, and you'd have to be very unlucky to damage your car here. Go off and hit something hard enough to damage your car. It's not impossible. It's never impossible. People have proved me wrong many times when I've said, go as fast as you like, son. Nothing can happen here.
Well, we saw Pedro Lamy as well, of course. Is he aboard the car? We're going to start with Paul. It's going to be Pedro, I think, to start. It is. And they'll be weight on his shoulders here to keep this alive, to grab the pole position that I think most expect he and Paul Dellalonde probably will. Khaled Al-Ghabaisi there. Not very far from home, of course, here. The Abu Dhabi racing man in the Kingdom of Bahrain, in the same region, of course, and the first man from this region.
Not only is he loud and clear, it felt like he was actually turned round there to see if Eduardo Freitas was in the Cox box.
We had Jackie Chan looking in last time out. Eduardo Freitas wouldn't be a stretch, John.
That's the track. We have 15 corners and a couple. It's not a massively technical track here in terms of some of the other tight and twisty and nudgy places we go to. Drivers seem to like it though. Talking to Mark Webber a little bit earlier on in his last professional motor race. He was very excited about going out again on the track where he won his World Championship. Mike Wainwright there just getting the attention of the cameras. Turns 1 and 2, always a bit tricky. The wind here changes, and for the downforce car, of course all these cars are downforce to some greater or lesser extent, but for the prototype cars that is an issue in terms of their braking points. Exit of turn 4 and turn 6, watch for track limits there. The braking through turns 9 and 10, that's the tricky two left-handers that come just before the support pit straight. And then that glorious turn 13, that tightens into 14, the two right-handers before you come back down the, suppose the fourth of the long straights here. That's 225 kilometres an hour through there. James Collado getting ready to go.
Absolutely, and pole in GTA Pro could be critical in a number of ways. We'll go through the maths. Probably the best time for that one, John, is after we see what emerges from this, because the combinations are numerous.
Endless.
Yeah, Marcus Sorensen.
And we have got a footbox camera in that car.
Yep.
With Marco. Now, that's interesting. Steering wheel on that car, very interesting, not a full circle.
We believe final time for qualifying in GT Pro for that car, the 911 RSR, the 2016 mid-spec. 2017 car is here. Will not run a course in this race.
Have you had a look at it?
I've not managed to get down there, but I gather it's a stunner.
Don't bother. Don't bother going down there. It'll spoil you for everything else.
But, for Ferrari, for Aston Martin and for Ford, it is about pole position here. It is about grabbing that point. It is about closing the gaps or extending the gaps.
Under 1 minute to open pit lane. Under 1 minute to open pit lane.
Floodlights ablaze and about to go live on track.
What a great way to finish off any season, but a season such as we've had here in 2016 to literally have its curtain call under the lights here, and it will be, remember, race start. The race will have been running for about an hour at this time tomorrow, so the vast majority of the race will be under the floodlights. 20 minutes is on the clock. Aston Martin, number 98, sitting at the head of the pit lane without its headlights on. Now it fires up. Suggests to me that the engine wasn't fired up before.
These cars do look stunning.
I love under the lights. Yeah, agreed.
Pit lane is open. GT session has started. Pit exit is open.
So there we are. Eduardo Freitas has set us off down the path to two pole positions in GT. question, of course, is will a championship be decided here? Just luxuriate for a moment, will you, in these early shots as people are getting up to speed. Out of the pit lane for the Ferraris as well. Still that quirkiness of running the amber tinted headlights that goes way back to the street cars. Goes back to Le Mans, of course. Everything in motor racing eventually goes back to Le Mans. Normally you don't have to go so far. Because it was public roads at Le Mans, the street cars had to run the yellow headlights to be legal under the road going law, and of course it's been held on to. The prototypes run full white headlights. It's a bit of an issue in some respects because you've got all of these high-tech LED or HID systems that are designed to run behind clear glass, and it's a bit of an issue at the big motor race. The guys at IMSA are talking about it as well, with GT3 cars having to have the yellow headlights. To Mark Webber earlier on, I didn't realise that the Porsche had adjustable headlights, the 919 hybrid, for how much they turn with the steering wheel, how far they go down the road, how much they spread wide. Just another button to play with, I suppose, as you're doing 220 miles an hour down the.
It certainly has got plenty of toys, hasn't it, the 919?
Absolutely.
As do all those cars. I'll tell you of dramas for one of them when we get to the LMP qualifying.
Now, the good news is that we are interneted up.
It's Paul Dallana, ready to go.
So it's at Specutainment and at DSC Editor. If you'd like to tweet through to us in the early evening here. It is just after 5 o'clock in the evening here. Race time start is 4 o'clock local tomorrow. Remember, this is a Saturday race here in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Testing on Sunday, including the rookie test. John Gore there in the white shirt is the man at the head of Aston Martin Racing. No mean racer himself, actually.
Winner of the Brit Car 24 Hours, of course.
Yes. This year?
No.
Oh, last year.
A little while ago.
A few years ago, yes. Shortly this year, wasn't it?
It's a touring car race for the first time indeed, with Darren Cox of all people.
He's going to regret not having his
name on the side of that car.
I did tell him.
So round they go for this, the first flying laps for these cars in the session. We've already heard Andy Brio. He'll be making a decision on the second flying lap based on how the track is actually feeling after the earlier track action with the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East and the Era Challenge, the single-seaters. And uniquely, as they come round to complete these first flying laps, uniquely this complex this weekend, John, holding 3 FIA World Championship finals.
Extraordinary,
the FIWEC on this track and on the extraordinary karting complex next door, which is part of the same circuit complex. Both the CIK FIA Karting Championship and the Junior World Championship hold their final races here. And with a very nice read across to the ACO family, it features most certainly at least one driver common to both, because Ben Hanley, full season entrant in the ELMS with Dragon Speed, is out there and battling today and tomorrow in the world of karting. Back into there's David Richards, Dan Sayers and Jan Struve in line beyond John Gore. Jan Struve, the man behind Young Driver. Backers for the number 95 efforts, which is the car in the points lead in the Drivers' Championship at the moment with Nicky Thiem and Marco Sorensen. And what a year it's been for that crew, for this team, Aston Martin Racing, and for their new technical backers this year. With the technical partnership with Dunlop has paid dividends for a car that many didn't expect to be in the mix with the brand new Ford GT and the Ferrari 488. But trouble for one of those cars, but it's not the car on Dunlop's, it's the car on Michelin's number 98 car, the Aston Martin Racing AM entry. And Pedro Lamy has fallen victim to a track limits violation.
So still waiting for times to come through with us on our timing screen. Of course, it is the average that we are looking for. Two laps, one from each driver. And Manuel Collard with the best of the AM times at the moment, a 59.5, 56.9 for Darren Turner in the 97
and
car.
Therefore putting the 83 in a championship winning position.
Yes.
Because of that. Could that be a very, very costly error from Pedro Lamy? Tell you who's in the cars. It's Darren Turner in the 97, Marcus Sorensen in the 95, Aston Martins, Andy Priaulx and Olivier Pla are in the Fords, Davide Rigon is in the number 71 Ferrari, Jimmy Bruni in the number 51, a traditionally late starter to qualifying, and Michael Christensen in the number 77, the Dempsey Proton Porsche. In the AM cars, it's Ricky Taylor in the number 50 Labra Corvette, Mano Collard we've just described in the 83 AF Corsa car, Ben Barker in the Golf Porsche, Pedro Lamy we know in the Aston Martin number 98, Joel Camathias in the KCMG number 78 Porsche, and Pat Long, as we saw at the start of the show, is aboard the number 88 Abu Dhabi Proton Porsche. They are your 13 drivers. Quickest of the lot at the moment is Darren Turner, the only man under 157.
Andy Priaulx already into the pits in the 67 Ford, handing that over to Harry Tinknell. Remember, he was asking whether he would get a second lap, a 157.8 for him, so that's 9/10 away from Darren Turner's time at the moment.
Ricky Taylor goes quickest in AM, that puts the number 83 out of that provisional championship position just now. That was a quick tyre change for the 67 Ford.
Hello to those of you in the United States, 12-hour time difference back to California, so making it a very early start for you out there. Thank you for tuning in. Carol Brink amongst you. Zach Anderson saying the haze, just a bit of sand dust from the desert. Exactly so, yes, and a bit of moisture in the air as well.
There's a lot of moisture in there, John.
Yeah, very humid.
Fog bank, and when you get fog here, believe you me, it's pretty terrifying. It was foggy to the point of stopping traffic on the motorway here this morning.
Yeah, I have even greater admiration for my A320 pilot as he dropped in the early hours of this morning, because he couldn't have been able to see anything at all. I couldn't see the bonnet of the hire car as I was pulling out of the airport. Through the final corner then, and onto the front straight for that Ferrari.
So it's Aston Martin in the early running in GT Pro. Then it's the two Ferraris, the number 51 from the 71. Then the two Fords, the number 67, with Harry Tinknell now aboard the number 67 Ford, Olivier Pla on pit road in the 66. In AM, it is the number 50 of Ricky Taylor, the Labra Corvette. Francois Perraudin now aboard the 83, but there appears to be problems for the number 88 Porsche, which I don't think...
Pat Long wasn't happy in that shot that we just saw down there in the pit lane, and I don't think that car's going back out again.
Not the first time they've had this in qualifying, John. They missed qualifying, was it last time out? Was it Fuji? They did not qualify the car, and I think needed a change of engine last time out, which meant they missed qualifying. It was done just in time. But there you go, that's abandonné. Bit of goal for the 88 crew. They will be back of the pack.
Johnny Adam straight into qualifying as he returns to the 97 squad.
Reigning British GT champion now, of course.
95 going back out as well. Sorensen. And just hearing from the 88 pit courtesy of Louise Beckett, who is down in the pit lane. Rear axle issues for that Porsche. There is the Dane Train, the 95 car. Nicky Team's just taking that car out. He's warming to his task. just under 10 minutes to go. And we'll start to see some times from the second drivers now. This is where things do change, of course, as the cars come through that have done their 2 laps. We get the average. 1:56.953, the fastest lap so far by Darren Turner.
Every single car, with the exception of the 88 that will go no further in a session, pitted after a single flying lap, John.
Yeah. Andy Priault, his work looks like he's done. Not happy with the swinging changes to the balance of performance, 20 kilos, and a big change in the boost. George Howard Chappell, long chat with him in the back of the paddock just before walking over to the booth.
Well, it won't be the weight that's done the damage to their pace.
I think they expected the weight, if I'm honest. I don't think they expected the boost. They knew that they had a good car at the last couple of rounds, and they've made the best of it. It's my car of the year this year, that Ford GT, designed and built to win Le Mans, and delivers in the first year.
And is in the hunt for championship.
Remarkable.
Win here.
Remarkable.
So we will do the points totals for you between the sessions. So 97 Aston still leading the way as the second driver is now getting up to speed. It's the first car into the 156s was Darren Turner's effort, the 97. Then it's the sister car, Nicky Thiem now aboard, but it's Marcus Sorensen that put in the time just under 2/10 shy of Darren's effort. James Collado now aboard the 51 car after Jimmy Bruni, half a second back from the lead Aston, and a further almost 4/10 back was Davide Rigon's effort in the number 71 Ferrari.
What we're not getting in the moment is the second driver time, so apologies for that. We're seeing them on the screen as you are, not coming up on the timing and scoring at the moment.
So we are getting here is a target time, of course, on the screen, which is a great thing to have. So we can see basically what these guys need to do to improve. And it's a mighty ask for the 66 Ford, 1:55.9, to actually get onto terms. And Johnny Adam goes through and is another lap in the 156s, almost identical to Darren Turner's effort. That consolidates.
No. 56.953. He's just trimmed a tiny bit off it, hasn't he?
No, it's the same. It's exactly the same.
He's done exactly the same time.
It's exactly the same time. To the thousandth.
Well, that makes the average easy to work out, doesn't it? That'd be 1:56.9. I couldn't believe what I was seeing there, Graham.
I was trying to work it out. The only explanation of what I'm looking at is the two drivers have produced
you're absolutely
exactly
right.
the same time.
That is extraordinary. I don't think we've seen that
ever
in the time that we've been doing this.
And certainly not in a GT car.
Right, park it now. They've only got a 10th.
However, that's Roman Brandella takes the number 50 car around.
Louise is in the 83 pit at the moment. They've just been bounced off the top of the AM category by Paul Dallalana's 2 minutes. 0.399.
Nicky Thiem, meanwhile, just shaves a little off that. It's a few hundredths off the required average. It's still 0.128 off the required target, though.
Lou, what's the atmosphere down there in the 83 car? Francois Perraudin, I think, has come back in.
Tense, very tense, yes. Francois has just come in. I don't think they were quite ready for him, but it looks like Manu could be getting back in the car.
Copy.
I can see a set of tyres.
Okay. Oh, right. So they're going to try and do this. They're throwing everything at it, says Louise. A 1:59.589 from Perraudin and a 2 minutes 1 second 0.448.
It's really tight, John. It is a couple of tenths. It's a couple of tenths to a second that's going to make the difference.
What they'll do is they'll give Perraudin a new set of tyres and send him and see if he can do better than his 2 minutes 1.448.
Now, wouldn't this be a fantastic time to set your first ever pole position?
They have a 7/10 advantage on the first driver there. So he can do, if he can find half a second on new tyres, if he can do half a second on find half a second on new tyres, Perodo I'm talking about here, Graham.
He will go to pole position. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it is now gentleman
Sorry,
driver.
working this out on the fly is never a good thing.
Gentleman driver versus gentleman driver, mano a mano. It's almost Manu.
No,
it's Delalana versus Francois Perodo, and the gaps are measured in tenths.
Aston Martin first and second, and their averages are just a tenth and a quarter between the 97 on provisional for Paul and the 95 on the outside of the front row in Pro.
Pedro Lamy is going to get back in the number 98 car to see whether or not he can actually extend this lead for them. Francois Perodo is the man being tasked with the the opposite job, if you like. It's new tyres for the 98s.
This is serious. This is the championship on the line for the 98 car. Main time through to turns 9 and 10. The Ford, the AF Corsa, excuse me. This is the 71 car of Sam Bird.
What I would say here, John, is for the driver's title in Pro, the Aston Martins are in the wrong order, because it's the 95 car that currently leads the championship. They are not, at this stage, going to set pole. What's happening here? I'm looking to see whether or not we're going to get the cars up on the jacks. They're looking at the tyres.
Well, that would suggest to me that the Pro cars are not going back out again, and Johnny Adam and Darren Turner have pole position in Pro, unless Sam Bird can do something on this lap, and it's not looking likely. Here he comes, down towards the final, an awesome 15th corner. The right-hander brakes, turns in. Love the splitter cam. It's like you're lying down underneath the front bumper where the number plate should be. And across the line, Sam Bird does not improve. John Gore on the left there saying Pedro will nail it. Delalana saying, yeah, I got a good lap. You couldn't hear that. So he believes that he did what he can do. It's now going to be down to Pedro, and Francois Perodo on new tyres needs to find half a second as it stands now. 2 minutes to go. He'll get one flying lap. So looking at the 97 car, the two times that are recorded for Darren Turner and Johnny Adam, 156.953 and 156.953. Perfect symmetry and speed for the Aston Martin number 97 and provisionally on pole.
Brilliant result for them if this carries on through, and it looks like it very well might, John. It is the wrong car.
Yeah.
The 95 car is the car that leads both the team and the drivers' championships, and by narrow margins in both, the point could have made a difference. But it looks to me like Nicky Team was given one lap to achieve that and has not done so.
So now we've got to wait for Pedro and Francois.
The one thing that has achieved is it's meant that neither the Fords nor the Ferraris have got that point.
Yes, absolutely right. As team comes through, as Lamy comes through rather to start his flying lap. Francois Perodo is on his quick lap, and it's decent times at the moment for Francois. Needs to get to just over a 2:01. In fact, there it is on the screen, 2:01.10, and a slightly harder task for the 98 of Pedro. Oh, look at this. Here he comes to the line. This is going to be close. Is it going to be there? It's right on the money.
It is. It is. Francois Perodo storms through, clinches for the moment, provisional pole position.
Crucially, he's got another lap. Those guys are celebrating the pole position in pros. The checkered flag is out and nobody can take it from them. Pedro Lamy is on a stormer, but it will just be this one. Perodo's got to keep pushing here, Graham, because he's got one more lap and Pedro does not.
Lamy cannot afford a mistake here, cannot afford for this to be anything other than a perfect lap.
Halfway around, he comes out of turn number 10. Just a little bit of a wiggle there was there. We are talking about tenths of seconds. He needs to get to just around 2 minutes, 120 seconds. Sounds easy, doesn't it? But he is coming through the final part of the track now, through turn 13, setting the car up. That car looks pretty well sorted there. Watch the exit, don't run too wide as he comes onto the fourth long straight down a hill. Now, then it flattens out and then it falls away again into the final corner. Got to nail your braking point here. On the left, his teammate Paul Dalla, on his right, the 83 team out of the final corner. Nicely onto the curbs. Come on, says Paul Dalla across the line and gets there by 0.002 of a second.
Oh, 2,000th of a second is the gap.
But it's not over because Perodo is still out there. But surely he can't fight back from there. And indeed, his times are not going to improve. It will be a pole position for the 98 of Paul Dalla and Pedro Lamy, and the championship in GTE AMP continues. And Perodo pits, he knows. What a valiant effort, though, to take the first ever pole position by Perodo.
That was an epic effort from Francois Perodo. Under pressure, let's not forget. And the biggest prize awaited, and he came so close to it. But great stuff again. Joy unconfined on the face of Paul Dalla. It goes to the 6 hours, the Babco 6 hours of Bahrain tomorrow, John, the GTM battle, and that's exactly where we want to see it.
There is Manu Collard in the red suit on the right-hand side.
That's too much.
Mathieu Vassivière there, in the foreground.
That was, you cannot knock Francois for that. New set of Michelins on the Ferrari and got so close. Lockout on the front row from Aston Martin Racing. That's interesting, but Ferrari perhaps not wanting to show their hand too early.
Gentleman Driver of the Year in the WEC last year, Francois Perodo, you recall, John, you gave the award.
Oh, yes. Very well deserved.
And he comes back, is in title contention, could have won it. Could have won it in this now, I have to say, much more appropriate qualifying format for a Pro-Am class.
Yeah, agreed.
And could have taken it. It was his effort that made the difference there. Just for half a lap, he was the champion.
There is the moment that they know that they have kept the championship alive. But let's not forget the pro part of GTE as well. Johnny Adam and Darren Turner on pole position with Louise.
Well, the number 97 Aston Martin taking pole there. That's not a bad way to come back into it, Johnny, is it?
Yeah, no, it's been a great weekend so far. The team have done a great job with the car. Dunlop's working really well around here, and yeah, it was close. It was good.
Darren Turner, the same times. How does that come about?
I don't know how that works, but I think if you went to whatever's after 1,000th, if that's a millionth or something, then Johnny pipped me, because looking at the sectors, it looked like he had the little bit of an edge. But when we're, I don't know what that is, maybe a centimetre on the racetrack, but yeah, great job by Johnny to rock up this weekend and just put the car right up there on the grid. And it's just nice to be on pole for the final race of the championship. So everything to play for tomorrow, but yeah, great result for the team.
You said you liked it here in Bahrain when we did the track walk.
Yeah, I did, and I'm thinking I'm liking it a little bit more every time I go out now. So yeah, this is obviously a great way to finish today, Friday, and then we just got to do it all again tomorrow on the race.
Thank you, well done.
Do you reckon if he'd had a shave, that extra tiny bit of weight he would have saved would have got him, you know, the faster time?
Hashtag blame Darren.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, if you weren't sure just how humid it is, no, Louise has got her hair back, which is that is undoubtedly a visual note as to how damp it is out there. Here's Paul Dalla. Paul
Well, that was close indeed. Oh, my word.
Oh my. Well, listen, you know, we wanted to fight another day here, so at least we take it to the race. And yeah, a little more work than necessary here. I think Pedro had a moment on his first lap, and it's really, you know, one lap sort of run on these tires, so you have to get it in the first time. If you don't, you're in trouble. So we had to send him out for a third lap and, or, you know, a second flying lap, and he got it. So we're really happy here.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good point here. This is a circuit that doesn't have a lot of grip, and that means the tyres degrade very, very quickly.
Well, the points gaps as we watch the LMP cars coming out now, John, in the Manufacturers' Championship, 261 points for Ferrari now play, 252 for the Aston Martin guys. In the Drivers' Championship, it is still the 95 crew that lead, 131 points from the number 71 cars, 119. I think it's a 67 car third on 110, so not a lot in it. And in the Teams' Championship, it's 131 for the 95 crew. It is 129 for the 67 Ford, 121 for the 66, and 119 for the 71 Ferrari. It is so close. Now, what we're looking for here as the LMP1 cars and the LMP2 cars start to collect at pit out is where is the number 8 Audi? Because that car, since free practice 3 this morning, has had an engine change. The issue that brought Ollie Jarvis to a halt, he heard a noise in the car, parked the car immediately, safely on the exit driver's right of turn 1, and fault was found. He was absolutely correct. Fault was found. They have changed the engine. I think that car is out there at the end of pit out. And it will be, by the look of it, Lucas Di Grassi that will start this qualifying session. Same rules apply, remember. It's the average of 2 time laps, 1 each for 2 selected drivers. And of course, the difference between the GT Pro teams and the LMP teams here is there are 3 drivers to select from. But again, in LMP2, one of them has to be the non-professionally ranked driver. LMP2, the title is done. It's gone the way of the 36 crew. But in LMP1, the driver's title is still up for grabs, and the point could make a difference.
Mark Webber, interestingly, saying that he still fancies going out on the top step of the podium.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? What a career he's had. This will be the last race.
Couldn't even tempt him with a GT drive at Bathurst.
Well, it's clearly not Lucas Di Grassi in the car, but there he is. So it will be Ollie Jarvis, by the look of it.
That's very interesting. There is the 26G drive car, not able to fight for the championship this year. Alex Brundle talking to me earlier, saying how much he loves this circuit. But again, another one of the drivers that's saying that in qualifying, it's going to be a quick drop-off. But in the race, if you don't get your tyre performance right, you could be in big trouble. Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich there.
The last of an enormous number of qualifying sessions, which he will have been at the helm of the Audi Sport Team Yost crew in 18 years.
Very appropriate picture there, hashtag League of Performance, because frankly, he's been in a league of his own since he took that job on.
They've never been relegated from that league, have they?
That's very true. Very true indeed. High emotions this weekend for a number of reasons, for a number of teams, cars, drivers, up and down this pit lane. Always mixed emotions, isn't it, at the end of a season, the end of a long season, just one more race and we can all go home. But it's different. It's been such a big season.
There is the 8th.
For the LMP qualifying session. Please advise your drivers we are monitoring track limits as we did in the previous events.
Okay, Ollie, just another little bit of information. The GT cars, as you saw, were much quicker than this morning, but they were similar in lap times to free practice 2. And there were a couple of track limits laps that were canceled, so just keep it on. Copy.
Copy, he says. Ollie Jarvis, very businesslike. There's Anthony Davidson. That is brilliant. Very classy.
Class.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Session has started. LMP qualifying session has started for 20 minutes.
Game on.
So out goes the number 7 Audi. Andrea Lotterer in the 7, Timo Bernhard in the 1 Porsche, Mark Lieb in the 2 Porsche. With the other drivers as they exit pit lane. Kamui Kobayashi we saw in the Toyota, we know that it's Ant Davidson in the other Toyota, that's 6 for Kobayashi, 5 for Davidson. Ollie Jarvis we know in the number 8. Now let's hear what Kamui Kobayashi is saying, or is being told.
So, reminder of not pushing the tires on the hot lap and try to have some free air with the car in front so that they don't disturb your aero.
So the thing to watch for here, John, is the number 2 car. We're talking theoretically here. There's not been a pole position for the number 2 car aside from the Le Mans 24 Hours where it's a 1-driver format, remember? Neil Janney.
Yes, good point.
If the number 2 car sets pole, then the only combination that works for the number 6 Toyota crew, because it's those 2 crews that are in the battle for the World Drivers' Championship here, the only combination that works is a win.
Okay.
That is the only thing that this can materially affect today. It would extend the gap for the Porsche to 18 points. Number 2 Porsche, the manufacturer's title, of course, gone to Porsche last time. So, keeping a weather eye on what... Well, it's Mark Lieb that was starting the session. Timo Bernhard, by the way, in the 1. Mark Lieb in the number 2. And Davidson and Kamui Kobayashi in the 5 and 6 Toyotas. Andre Lotterer and Ollie Jarvis in the Audis. It will be Simon Trummer in the CLM, the Bicolis car, and it will be Dom Grimehammer for the starters in the Rebellion. Of course, their swan song in LMP1 Privateer for now at least. In the LMP2 cars, Roman Rusinov in the number 26 G-Drive, Maurizio Mediani in the 27 SMP Racing BR01, Guido van der Garde in the number 30 ESM, the KFC-sponsored car, Pippo Durrani in the 31 ESM car.
He is raring good.
Yes. David Cheng in the 35.
By the way, it's already
DC.
Rast in the 26, not Rusinov.
Ah, right, it's just changed. Okay. Gustavo Menezes starts the 36 Signatech Alpine, the championship-winning car. Victor Scheitar is in the 37 SMP Racing BR01. Ricardo Gonzalez in the 43 RGR Sport Ligier. Alex Lynn and Roberta Merry in the 44 and 45 Mana Oricas, respectively.
And everybody bar the number 4 CLM and the number 5 Toyota are out on the track. So what little tactical games are they playing? As Timo Bernhard has the fastest second sector, but his teammate Mark Lieb has the fastest first sector, and now the fastest second sector, but then he's beaten by Lotterer. Audi are in this, you know, Graham. Audi are in this game.
They want to go out with their heads
Shouting.
held high.
They want to go out screaming and shouting. Oh, huge moment coming out of the final corner for Timo Bernhard. Caught the Michelins on the curve, the left-hand side, and back into the car, protesting under more than 1,000 horsepower being fed through the 4 wheels.
Lieb goes to the top. That's where he needs to be. Andre Lotterer
goes straight back with a 39.4, half a second ahead. Now, do they boogie back to the pits and get the second driver in? I think they do.
Kobayashi, meanwhile, goes into 3rd. It's Audi, Porsche, Toyota. It's all 3 factory teams, and all 3 factory teams have won here since the FIWEC's.
Anthony Davidson's just left the pits. I think he's expecting all those guys to come right in at the end of the lap and try and get a clear run. Rene Rast's just left the pits. Pippo Durrani just left the pits. The 2 Ligier Works drivers.
Audi 1-2, Ollie Jarvis in that re-engine number 8 Audi. So Andre Lotterer from Ollie Jarvis, 7 from 8. So it's the 2 Audis from Mark Lieb's Porsche, then the number 6 Toyota.
And the 2 Audis, the only cars under 1 minute 40. Only cars under 100 seconds. Only by a smidge for Ollie Jarvis, 139.911. It's a very sort of Porsche number for an Audi. But the 39.496 by Lotterer is the time to beat at the moment. And Ollie Jarvis is going faster.
Gustavo Menezes goes the first man under 150 in the LMP2 class. Number 36 Signatech Alpine, 149.708. That's over a second clear of the number 30 ESM car with Guido van der Garde aboard. So Tech Alpine ahead of ESM Ligier, ahead of Victor Scheitar in the BR01, the 37 car, which is a further almost a second back. Looking for where the improvements might come here. I'm waiting to see what René Rast can bring to this party, and Pipo Derani, both very quick in their first sectors, and certainly competitively so.
39.496. Lap record here, by the way, of the race lap record, of course, is a 41.8. The qualifying lap record, Graham, as all of those cars that have just set their first flying lap join Louise in the pit lane. So we expect those guys to jump out. You got the qualifying records?
Not
there,
got qualifying records here, I'm afraid.
Right. And driver changes for all of those guys. Nice to see the guys with the head torches on as well. Now you can't really afford any deductions here, and that's exactly what's happening to the Alpine number 35 of David Cheng. His first flying lap is deleted for the turn 4 exit. That's at the end of that long uphill straight.
A moment for Pipo Derani to punch the air and the team to punch the air with a 149.4, but it's only a moment. René Rast blitzes it, 148.6 for the returning René Rast. Has been away for a couple of races.
Davidson's on a flyer, and Davidson with a potential pole-sitting lap here in the number 5 car.
Not if Ollie Jarvis has got anything to do with it. He's fastest of all in the first sector. This
he's
is
the only one who
fire.
stayed out for a second lap, Graham.
Well,
this is interesting on the 8 car. So this is going to be Ollie Jarvis going to provisional pole, is it? As Marcel Fessler heads out of the pit lane in the 7 car for the second go, and the second driver for the 7 car. And Davidson, a 38.420 in the middle sector. That's not
36.420.
That's very quick indeed. And the 30 car gets a deletion. Guido van der Garde in the Ligier. And again, it's turn 4.
Ollie Jarvis is going very quickly indeed.
It's going to be a 39.5. I don't think it's quick. It might just pip the 7 car for pole, but then he's got to get straight back into the pit lane. 12.5 minutes left. Anthony Davidson goes to 5th position only after starting that lap very, very well indeed, but lost in the middle, lost 0.3 to Jarvis in the middle sector, and a 39.587 for Jarvis,
less than
0.091 of a second. I said it was a 39.5.
It's less than a 1/10 of a second shy of the efforts of André Lotra.
And the 2 Audis now, Graham, are both now half a second clear of the field. And Fessler is out, coming round at the end of his warm-up lap.
So Audi,
I love this qualifying.
Audi, Porsche, then the two Toyotas, then the number 1 Porsche. Brendan Hartley just aboard the car.
Neil Janney has been plugged into the number 2 car, the ultimate go faster accessory. Flames spitting from the exhaust of the LMP2 cars from those highly stressed but brilliant sounding Nissan engines. Again, something that we'll be waving goodbye to at the end of the season. And Anthony Davidson's lost a lap. Anthony Davidson's lost his fast lap for turn 13. That's an unusual one. That's going up the hill. The fast right-hander. Turn 13 exit, so Davidson drops all the way down to the bottom.
Mike Collis, by the way, has not come out to qualify. It's still on the in a pit garage, I think. Number 5 car, it is. I can see it now. Team around the rear of the car.
Love to see the evening time here. Coming up to 20 minutes before 6. Ollie Jarvis will peel into the pit lane this time. We'll assume his job is done. 32.298 for Fessler. That's not bad, but it's a couple of seconds shy of where he needs to be. Depends whether he's put new tyres on that. Brendan Hartley making a bid for pole position for the outgoing world champion number 1 Porsche. 31.9 for the first sector. That's hauling, but not as quick as Neil Janney. They must have put new Michelins on that Porsche.
Could this be drama here? This could be a very significant lap indeed for the Drivers' World Championship. If Neil Janney can get this car onto pole position, it will be the first time since the Le Mans 24 Hours. It's got over half a second on average to make up on the two Audis, but it will mean that the number 6 Toyota would have to win the race and see real dramas for the number 2 Porsche tomorrow.
Ollie Jarvis just been on the radio and said the car feels really good and Lucas should be able to nail it. So they're feeling confident. First flying lap for Fessler is not quick enough. It is a 30, let me check, sorry, wrong screen. Fessler's lap hasn't come through yet on this one.
Both Porsches are broadly the same kind of pace, but with Brendan Hartley with more to make up. Here comes the number 2. Where's that's going to leave Neil Janney? Second.
Not quick enough, but 2 quick sectors. A 39.452 is the best lap of the session. We've seen this before. Best lap of the session doesn't necessarily get you the pole position. I think it was 4th position, wasn't it, for one of the Toyotas in Fuji?
I think you're right. There's still only 5th by the way for the number 1 car. Timo Bernhard could not put that lap together. It's a competitive lap time from Brendan Hartley, but he's got time to make up here. Under 9 minutes to go to the end of the session, the final qualifying session of the 2016 FI World Endurance Championship. It is Audi on provisional pole position with Lucas de Grassi now out on track and looking to consolidate that position. Mike Conway goes second in the number 6 number 6 Toyota. And this again is significant because this is the battle we said before here. Unlikely that either the 6 or the 2 could set pole position. They're both in the hunt.
They're all in the hunt, Graham.
It's under 0.2 of a second on average between the top 3, and 2 of them are the Drivers' Championship contenders.
Well, and let's be honest, it's 2 1/4 tenths between the top 4 at the moment, and Fessler hasn't done a decent lap yet.
And that, by the way, has come courtesy of the fastest time of the session for Mike Conway in the number 6 Toyota.
Except he's going to lose the lap.
No.
He's going to lose the lap. Conway loses the lap at turn 4 for the track limits, and he'll have to do it again.
Car 6, lap 5 will be deleted for the abuse of track limits at T4. Car 6, lap 5 will be deleted due to the abuse of track limits at T4.
By the way, is that the best connection we've had to Eduardo all year?
He's standing behind you,
Thanks, Eduardo.
Thank you very much. Just pass us the note next time.
By the way, it's been suggested by a number of people that, Eduardo, if we could just do I'm sorry, I can't answer this phone call at the moment. Could you please leave your message? It would go down a storm as a download. And there is the visual evidence. Exit of turn 4 where the cutout is onto the mountain part of the course.
Timo Bernhard goes out for another crack at this. Neil Janney, though.
So it looks like they're all going to try again if they can throw another. We've seen this before. There is extra tyres here, isn't there?
Oh, this is tight stuff.
But you've got to throw an extra set of tyres at it if you want the pole.
Is this driver change, or is Neil Janney? Lieb is getting a board here from Lou down the pits. Mark Lieb is going to have a crack at this. Under 0.2 of a second on average is the gap to secure a pole position for the number 2 car.
Don't forget
that would potentially make life very difficult indeed for the number 6.
We've not seen Luca Di Grassi's first lap yet.
No, we haven't.
And he's on a flyer.
He's going quicker.
He's quicker than Ollie was. He's quicker than Ollie. He's got a 31.7 in the first section, excuse me. He's onto the support pit straight now and heading towards that section of 11, 12, 13 and 14, which comes together very quickly, and you've got to string them together slightly uphill. Set yourself up for the right-hander at 13. That's where there was an issue, apparently, for he's wide at the exit of 14, but he kept 2. Michelin's well on the track. Now, 5.5 minutes to go down to the final corner. Here comes Di Grassi. He's going to extend the margin. It's 0.111 of a second at the moment. Back to Fessler in second. Audi 1 and 2 with cars 8 and 7. And there goes Di Grassi with a 38.8 and the first man into the 38.8. And he annihilates the times of the rest of the drivers. And Ollie Jarvis on the phone earlier was absolutely right. The car is good. It is well balanced. And Luca Di Grassi has just nailed provisional pole position.
And that came moments after Marcel Fessler closed the gap to just a smidge over a tenth of a second. So Fessler improved the average time for the number 7 car, but as you quite rightly say, John, Lucas de Grassi in what will be the final qualifying session in LMP1 for Audi Sport Team Joost annihilates that time. It's an average of 1:39.2.
Now, Anthony Davidson, having had his best lap thrown out, that car was down in 6th position, and Kaz Nakajima has taken the 5 car back out again.
Well, 4.5 minutes to go. Dramas still awaits. 6 is still held on pit lane as one of the 2 Alpines. That's the 36 car that's just gone second quickest, by the way.
Stefan Rakelmi very, very wide at 15.
And well, either way, I don't think that would not count, but has already nailed the second position to the charge ahead and actually closed the gap dramatically. If that lap stands, John, that is 200ths a second, just under 200ths a second is the gap now between the number 26 and the 36 for pole position in LMP2, with Matt Rao, the moment aboard the 44 Mana Orica, 3rd quickest. Still waiting, by the way, for second time laps from the number 6 after that penalty. Also from the 30, the ESM car.
Well, Conway came into the pits and he's banged another set of tyres on and he's going out again, and that's sensible. De Grassi and Fessler are in the pit lane from Audi. Do they throw another set of tyres and put the original drivers back in and say there's a bit more rubber on the track now, guys, give it another go? And out goes Mike Conway towards the end of the pit lane. He'll be rejoining in just a wee moment. Kaz Nakajima's out on track as well. Timo Bernhard's got a decent lap going in the number 1 car. Both the Audis are in a state of readiness. They're like strike fighters ready to be launched on.
Ollie Jarvis is climbing back in the car, John.
Yeah, and a new set of Michelin rubber for that car. I think that's sensible. I'm not sure they've got enough. I think it's going to be close, but why not? Burn another set of tyres, guys. Go for it.
Go in style. Do this in style.
Off-track moment there for SMP Racing. That was all 4 wheels off in the biggest possible way. Timo Bernhard is about to jump up into contention in the number 1 car. He's in the final sector now. And another big off-track moment. So that's 2 off the track. All 4 wheels for the 37, which is in the hand of Vitaly Petrov.
Andre Lotterer back aboard the 7 car. They're coming back out for a crack at this. They fancy a bit of a last gap glory run too.
Goes into second. I said he was back in contention, and that's courtesy of the fastest 3rd sector of all, a 39.3. Still only 1 driver and 1 car in the 38, a 38.8 from the number 8 of Luca de Grassi. And we think with if they're going to roll that car, he's got to go soon. He's got to go soon. Now, are they going to save that set of tyres for Ollie Jarvis, or are they going to send him? Lou is down there at Audi. What's the situation? Lou, is Ollie going to be sent?
They're holding him at the moment.
No time.
He's got to go now.
No time.
He's ready to go. No, the team, no, they've walked away.
Well, they were thinking about it. It's now just 2.5 tenths back to not their teammate, because Lotter has dropped back down to 4 as Ollie is out of the car. The 30, Jean Galel, having his lap taken away.
That's the second lap that car's lost. Guido van der Garde lost a lap early in the session. So they have not set a 2-lap average yet, John.
Yeah. There's the 36. In second position, Stefan Rakelmi's done enough. Audi at the moment, pole position, and Andre Lotterer will get 1 lap at this when he crosses the line in a moment or two's time. And the 31! The 31's lost a lap as well. Chris Cummins was in the pits. But that is going to drop them down, and they don't have time to respond, Graham.
So both the Porsche is now 2nd and 3rd, because Lieb has improved.
Yes,
has actually improved above Andre Lotterer. So Audi still provisional pole position, 30 seconds to go until the end of this session. Lucas de Grassi aboard the car, but that car will not be going back out. Timo Bernhard is in pit, in the pits. That one is done.
They'll be no better. The number 1, the world champions, won't go out with a pole. but they'll be no better than second position at the moment.
Mark Lieb is on a slowing down lap as well.
But Lotterer has gone through. Lotterer has gone through, and now the man to watch will be Andre Lotterer.
They will want the
Lockout.
full front
They'll
row
want
here.
the front row.
And he is quicker. Andre Lotterer, 32.177 seconds.
Oh my goodness, time expires on the final qualifying session of 2016, and the final, for now, qualifying session for Audi Sport as an LMP1 hybrid works team. And at the moment, as Mark Lieb goes through, he doesn't improve. He'll be no better than third. That's not bad. Conway, Nakajima go through for Toyota, and they'll be fifth and sixth. It's down to Andre Lotterer, Hop Suisse. As they come through.
He doesn't improve in the second sector, John.
Yeah, but it's quick.
But it's quick. It could be good enough for second here. This is what we're looking for this moment, is Andre Lotterer. We'll know in the next 30 seconds or so, is he done enough for Audi in their final race in LMP1 after a fantastic 18-year history? Can they lock out the front row here at the Babco 6 Hours of Bahrain?
Here he comes. This for Audi Sport, for his teammate, the Swiss driver, Marcel Fessler, and he does not improve. 39.3. But it is first and second. First and fourth for Lotterer. I thought he'd done better than that there.
It's fourth. There was an improvement by Lieb that actually relegated him. But there you go.
Porsche's second and third. Look at that.
Audi's last pole position setting crew. They will be delighted with that. Absolutely fantastic. Ronald Joost in the back embraces Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich. After a very difficult few weeks for this crew, it's a moment of joy for the team's technicians.
We've started how we want, now we've got to finish, is what Ollie has just said.
Pole position as well in LMP2, 8th on the grid overall for the number 26 car.
Luca Di Grassi did his part, the only man down in the 38.8.
Well, that is how you want to start tomorrow's race, isn't it?
Definitely. That's proof that we had a very, very fast car this year, and we are not fighting for the championship contender because of some small reliability issues during the year. But it's amazing to do the last pole position. My lap was a really good one. I'm really happy with myself. Ollie did a fantastic job also. And yeah, we start from P1.
And the WEC lap record.
And the WEC lap record, which is, yeah, amazing again. Yeah, I'm very, very happy.
Well done.
Thank you.
And he was the fastest man, 38.8, only man in the 38s.
Well, fantastic stuff.
Ben Treluer there, passing on his best.
Well, one storyline written in this race meeting, that of pole position for the 4 classes here. Audi take it, and we'll be delighted with that. Is this part of a fitting commemoration? There you go.
That's the car that had its engine changed.
It is indeed. 18 thrilling years, it says, with the tribute vinyls aboard this car. And that's, well...
End of an era. 2 World Championships, 9...
It's 13 victories at Le Mans.
13 victories at Le Mans, yeah.
That was close at the end. We have maybe a little bit of an issue, so that's why we didn't want to send Ollie out. And we thought maybe we...
Well, the face of Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, impassive for this moment. How will the emotions play out over the weekend? By the way, 2 tenths at the top of the field, then another 2 tenths, then half a second. I mean, very, very close indeed.
Unless we forget 2 hundredths in LMP2.
Yes, absolutely. very close indeed. Aston Martin taking pole in both Pro and Am before we saw the prototypes. It's another pole position for the, well, pole position experts this year, the 26G drive crew. Here's Rennie Rast.
Well, Rennie Rast is back with us in the WEC and pole.
Yeah, obviously very, very happy, very delighted. Not only for our result, but also for Audi's pole position in the last race. Yeah, a great qualifier for both of us. We even just used one set of new tires, and Alpine used 2 sets of new tires, and we still made it on pole, which is even better for the race tomorrow.
And of course, you've got that battle with RGR. That's the main thing you're looking at.
Yeah, of course. We're still trying to keep Roman up in the championship to second place, obviously.
How are you feeling?
Good. We get a superstar back, so it's a great feeling. It was quite fast. Yeah, looking for the race tomorrow.
Great, thank you, well done.
Note down, only 1 set of new tyres used for LMP2, and they have even more stringent restrictions on their tyres than P1 do.
Well, it is 6 pole positions for that team, 2 wins, but without Rennie Rast aboard. Let's see what can happen tomorrow.
The 9th and final qualifying sessions for the FIA World Endurance Championship season 2016 under the lights in the very warm evening of Bahrain International Circuit, just about a half an hour's drive away from the capital city of Manama. GTs out first. Very fine run by the Corvette. Track limits, an issue for some of the drivers. Really important to make sure that the quick lap that you're doing is within the white lines. Second place, and just failing to take the championship. Had they been on pole, the 83 Ferrari would have confirmed the championship, but with a stunning last gasp effort, Pedro Lamy making sure that the championship race goes on into the race, and we have 6 hours of a fight, and Paul Dell'Alana and the rest of the Aston team very happy about that in GTE Am. In GTE Pro, the Ferraris have been a little off song recently in terms of their performance. Or are they hiding performance just a little bit? 3rd position for the best of the Italian cars. In 2nd position, championship contenders 95 Aston Martin, but they could not compete with their teammates today. Darren Turner and Johnny Adam returning to the championship, stealing pole position from their compatriots in the green cars. And so to the final 20 minutes of prototype qualifying for this season, and for the Audi Sport Team Joost Equipe, 18 years coming to an end at the end of the race tomorrow. Manor in 3rd position with the 44 car, Matt Rao bringing that one home. Very tight indeed at the top of the standings. The 36 Alpine have already tied up the championship, could not get the final pole position. That goes for the 6th time this season to the 26 crew. Roman Rusinov and Rennie Rast combining perfectly to take that pole position for the 26 Oregon. In LMP1 hybrid, the number 2 Porsche crew are almost champions, but almost is not enough. Mark Lieb, with a brilliant 2nd go in the car, ties up 3rd position on the grid. Ahead of him, Timo Bernhard, his teammate, the outgoing world champions, going out with a little bit of a roar, but in their final race as a team, Audi Sport Team Joost with Luca Di Grassi and Ollie Jarvis capture pole position and will start the 6 hours of Bahrain from the front of the grid.
Yeah!
Well, we are setting up for another one of those fairy tale endings.
Fairy tale endings, fantastic qualifying session, all 4 classes, dramas throughout. And so the championship battles all still alive going into tomorrow's 6 hours at Bahrain here, John.
Saturday race, remember, and starting at 4 o'clock local time, Check the schedule at FIAWEC.com. From Graham, me and the rest of the team, bye-bye.